Hello, and welcome to the Marshmallow. We have an absolutely magnificent elephant bull here, one of the gentle giants. We do see him quite often on these lush green grasses at the base of this little lagger. Isn't he gorgeous? Isn't this afternoon gorgeous? It is brilliant to be back. My name is Brent Smith. I have the eagle-eyed Manu on camera, and today we have Archie at the back who's on his cameraman interview. So he might be playing with the camera a little later, you never know. So good luck, Archie. And it is beautiful, yeah. You can see a lot of rain while we've been away, and I'm very thankful to the Mara for welcoming us back with this absolutely brilliant afternoon. The weather's wonderful. It's about 26 degrees Celsius, 79 Fahrenheit. There's a little bit of wind, not too much, and I always do love spending time with some big elephant bulls. They do have a sort of lovely aura about them, and it is very, very special that we are able to spend time with these creatures. Now, of course, if you like elephants and you want to know a little bit more about elephants, you can of course ask me or Jamie any questions, and you can do that by using the hashtag #SafariLive, and I'd love to hear from you. And what do you think about elephants? Actually, let's start off with a bang here. How does this big elephant bull make you feel? He's got a lovely long ivory. He's probably around 45, maybe 50 years old. So he is absolutely gorgeous. He makes me feel just plain happy. So how does this elephant bull make you feel? Hashtag #SafariLive. I'd love to hear your thoughts and comments on this beautiful creature. Now, he probably weighs close to 6 tons, so about 6,000 kilograms. And as I say, gentle giants. I've spent a huge amount of time with elephants in my life, and there's no need to be scared of them if you read their behavior correctly. He is completely nonplussed about us, just munching on that delicious green grass. But of course, being live, we never know what might be around the next corner. So I'm going to leave this distinguished old gentleman to carry on with his afternoon tea. While we do that, let's go say hello to the other person who's just got back, Jamie.
A very good afternoon to all of you, and welcome on our extended sunset safari, first with Brent and myself from the Mara, and then of course joined by our team in South Africa. What a wonderful start to the day. We've been on a journey, we've come back, and we've been presented with a journey. My name is Jamie, and this afternoon Jandre is on camera with me, back in the Mara once again. He arrived yesterday, so did we. No, actually we arrived this morning at around about 1 o'clock in the morning. That's a long story for another time. You are live from the Masai Mara here in Kenya, and it's lovely to have you all on board. Don't forget to send through your questions or comments on hashtag #SafariLive on Twitter. I imagine that Brent and myself have plenty to tell you about our holiday. We had a very, very exciting holiday between Nairobi and Uganda, but we do have some really, truly entertaining giraffe at the moment. They've been fascinating. I've been sitting with them for the last 10 or so minutes, and it's a group of females, mature females, and then some young males and one older bull. And I'm not sure if one of the females is coming into estrus, but they're attracting the attention of all of the males. I don't think she is. I think that they're just checking, just in case they might get lucky. But they've gathered together around the salt lick that sits at the base of the Olololo escarpment.
Over, as you can see, we are with some lions. The Angama pride lying under the shade of a torchwood tree. And I just wanted to see how full their bellies are, and they look quite full. And there are some vultures around, so I think they might have had a bit of a snack during the morning. But it is nice to catch up with them. I think we're going to leave them for now, though, because they are quite flat in the long grass. We'll definitely come back here later on this evening to see if there's any more action here. And as I said, it is wonderful to be here, and let us keep moving. So as most of you know, Jamie and I have just returned from our holiday, and we had a fantastic time in Uganda. And I know a lot of the birders out there are wondering what birds we saw. Well, that's why I didn't tell you what lifers we saw. I'd say I haven't finished collating the bird list yet. It's not bad. Personally, probably got about 15 or so new species that I hadn't seen before. I know Jamie got a bird she was very excited to see, and I'm not talking about the shoebill, which we also did see. We went into the Mumbumba swamps, and we went and saw the shoebills there. We got actually very close to one, about 15 meters away. So that was really exciting. And after that, we traveled from Entebbe towards Jinja and the source of the Nile River, and then we stayed just below in a camp on the Nile River, and from there we went adventuring, and we went white water rafting for 2 days, and which was great fun. And then we stayed on a funny little island called the Hairy Lemon, which was also very, very wonderful and very relaxing. So we had a great time, and on our way back through, we stopped off in Entebbe again and went to the botanical gardens, and that is where we did some serious birding. What is that? That is a nothing. A nothing. So we did some serious birding in the botanical gardens. I'm not going to spoil Jamie's surprise to what she saw. Oh dear. Oh no, we're all still connected. Oh, look at that. Isn't that gorgeous, Manu? Beautiful. The Mara is really performing this afternoon in terms of the light. Look at that, those beautiful elephant bulls striding through the sea of Thamida grasses. So that big storm that caused us quite a lot of havoc yesterday has created a beautiful day. Clear, clear skies. Now, for those of you who might have been watching, we got properly stuck on our way into the Mara yesterday. We got stuck at about 6 o'clock. I think we got out at about 11, and we only made it back into camp at about just after 1 a.m. this morning. And a big thank you to Djuma for holding the show for us this morning so we could have a bit of rest, because we were truly, truly tired by the time we got back and absolutely covered in mud. Philip is wondering who was driving when we got stuck, so he knows who to crown. Well, Philip, it was a driver from the transfer company we used to transport us to and from the Mara. So it doesn't count. Jamie and I weren't driving. Neither of us were part of the Marshmallow Club just yet. I hear Madam McCurdy is queen of that club, and I'm sure she's desperate for one of us to get stuck while she's on leave. I'm pretty sure she's just going to be watching social media to see if we get stuck. But of course, I'm not going to tempt fate just yet. Let me get back for a day or two before I start getting too...
Well, Brent disappeared, I'm sure, in the middle of full flow of the tale of us getting stuck last night. That's just one of those things. Shall we try that all again? Brent and I are back. We'll fight off the gremlins as we go along. I have to tell you that during that whole process with us getting stuck, here's an animal that doesn't often get stuck in the mud. In fact, here's an animal that absolutely loves mud, and in fact, by the looks of them, has been truly enjoying an afternoon spent playing in the mud, even down to the littlest member of the elephant herd, who has mud caked all over its tiny bottom and tail. I have to tell you that this afternoon we are being ably directed by Faith up in the Mara Final Control. She was largely responsible for our rescue last night. It did admittedly take a little while for the tractor to reach us, but it did. And we do have Faith to thank for that, so we'll all give Faith a big round of applause. We all arrived with muddy feet. And we did. We had complete faith in Faith. I don't know how much of the original introduction you heard, but we've had a very, very exciting holiday. I think Brent and I are going to be in competition the entire afternoon, trying to tell you the tales before the other one gets to them. But I believe that he said he wasn't going to ruin the surprise of the bird that we saw. I'll tell you about it in a little bit. But first, let's chat about the Ellies, because everybody loves elephants, and we've got such a lovely sighting. We can save the tales of our trip for a slightly quieter moment. Don't forget, questions through on hashtag Safari Live on Twitter. Any questions you'd like to ask about our brief stint in Uganda, we'd love to answer. And we can just enjoy the peaceful sighting of a female elephant with her little one, enjoying the fresh green Mara grass. I can't believe how much this place has changed. It really is incredible. Aaron, we're talking about our birds of the Mara, or the birds that we saw in the Uganda trip. Did we see any Madagascar herons? We did not. Did we? Hold on. Did we? No, we didn't. We saw a squawko heron, but we didn't see that particular heron. Obviously, what we did when we got to Entebbe was we went into the swamp. Oh, there you go. She's going to have a drink. I'll have a proper mud bath. I'll tell you about Entebbe in a little bit. Let's just let her entertain us, throwing some mud over her shoulder. Perhaps a mud-themed drive. I can see it's rained a huge amount while we've been away. She doesn't have to worry about getting stuck. Mud just works as a great sun protector, so protecting her skin from the harsh rays of the almost equator sun, and at the same time getting to all of those itchy spots and those hard-to-reach places. Yes, are you going to have a mud bath too, little one? It's not so easy when you haven't quite mastered the trunk in the same way Mum has, huh? Yeah. Oh, I'm so happy to see elephants on my first afternoon back. Off you go. Go on. Go and join Mum. Show us how it's done. Show us how it's done. This wobbly girl. Here we go. That's right. And what did Mom do again? She put her trunk in. And then now... Oh, but the mud's a bit slippery. Uh-oh. Go ahead first. No. Oh, tentative. Oh! Big stretch. Now what? There we go. Obstacle crossed. Oh, did you get a fright? Did you get a fright because a dragonfly flew past your head? Tom, you say that you're so happy to see a mother elephant with her baby. I couldn't agree with you more. Oh, you're so scary. Oh, you're so scary, yes. This is the first baby elephant that played with me in the Mara. Oh, that's so special. Come on then. Come and show us how big and scary you are. Oh, no. I'm very intimidated. You've done your job well. Well done, little elephant. Yes, oh, there we go again. Flare those ears out. Wave that trunk around with a degree of control, sort of. Make yourself look big and scary, just like Mum. Tom, I couldn't agree more. In terms of animals that I've spent time with, I would say that elephants are always my favorite. To sit and watch, they're never boring, they're always up to something. Especially the little ones. They definitely take up a big part of my heart out here. And it's always lovely to come and see them. When you go on leave, you don't realize, well, especially when you're busy, which we were, I don't think we realize just how much we miss these animals until we see them again. My plan, of course, is to go and find the sausage tree pride, because that's the lion pride that I really enjoy spending time with, but I'm not going to complain if we end up spending an entire afternoon looking at little Ellies. Can't believe how much the grass has grown already. Seeds growing. The rainy season is in full flow. Right, speaking of rain and seasons, and I don't know how I'm going to try and connect it. I'm trying to make a connection in my head, but I'm not going to manage it. So, we went into the swamp when we were on Lake Victoria in Entebbe. And we went on a little boat, and then we swapped over onto an even smaller boat, and off we went into the papyrus and into the reeds to go off in search of course, the mysterious Shoebill. And we searched for 3 hours, and I think most of you know the ending of the story, but we searched for a good 3 hours. We looked everywhere. We looked for the papyrus gonelek as well. We actually never found a papyrus gonelek, sadly. But eventually we got a call from one of the other guides to say that they'd spotted a Shoebill, and we got to it, and it was far off the main channel, and Brent jumped out with full enthusiasm, and we pushed the boat all the way. until we got within about 15 meters, so around about 45 feet away from the shoebill. It was the most phenomenal bird sighting of my life. They are so weird. They are completely prehistoric with these massive bills. I did a bad thing and I completely forgot to bring my bird book. But I know that Brent has his, so if you ask him nicely, he'll show you a picture of a shoebill for our new viewers. Just listening to some Ellie's trumpeting. Anyway, so we saw the shoebill and I could not have been more excited. And that for me, actually, that I was excited to see the other bird species, but that was what I really wanted to see. And I saw it was such a spectacular sighting. And shoebills, of course, are known for being still, but at the same time, this one actually took off and flew, which apparently is an unusual thing to see. A massive bird, nearly 1.5 meters tall. But I thought at that, we'd kind of used up our state of luck. I was so happy with that. I would have gone home ecstatic at having just seen the shoebill. But then, Billy, you wanted to know. Well, we took a trip to the Entebbe Botanical Gardens where they filmed the old Tarzan movie, and we went wandering around. And I'd read that the great blue turacos were occasionally seen, and we weren't really expecting to see them, but we heard the call. We were busy following sunbirds. We were busy chasing sunbirds. We heard the call, and we went racing up to the tree, and Brent and I saw it at the same time, and I'm going, and he's going, and then we ran and we saw the great blue turaco, and it was a spectacular sighting. Two of them, they didn't call, but two of them hopping around in the tree feeding off fruits. They're amazing. They're huge. These massive, massive turacos with these massive crests on the top of their head. Again, I forgot to bring the pictures, so you'll have to ask Brent to show you a picture of the great blue turaco. But they are really, really lovely birds. That was it. I thought that's me done. I could not be happier. And then we saw black and white colobus monkeys, and then I was even more happy. And by the end of it, I was so overwhelmed with all of the spectacular things we saw that I didn't know, I wouldn't have known where to begin telling the tales of the stuff that we saw in Uganda. It was a spectacular, spectacular way to spend the time. I was so excited. Of course, the tale of the cameras, Brent's lens broke a while back, so he's been using mine, and his camera very unfortunately went for an unplanned walk with somebody else. And as a result, neither of us had a camera with us, seeing all of these spectacular things. But we utilized the James Henry method, and we put our phones up to binoculars, and I wish you could have seen us. First with the shoebill, and then with the great blue turaco. The shoebill was entertaining because we were on boats. Now, I don't know if you've ever tried to take a picture through your binoculars with a phone camera. Try it. If you've got binoculars at home, please send through your best picular that you've ever taken, a picture through a binocular lens. Let's see if you can master the art better than I have. Perhaps you'll even be as good as James at some point. But send through your piculars on #SafariLive on Twitter. It would be very entertaining to see, and you'll get an idea as to just how weird it is to try and accomplish that. And then imagine doing it wobbling on a boat. And by the end of trying to take the pictures of the great blue turacos, my shoulders nearly popped out of their sockets. I'll try to use Brent as a, what do you call those things? Tripod. It didn't work though. He wasn't still enough because he was trying to take a picture. It was entertaining. Right, I'm going to halt my story there and pass the storytelling on to Brent while he looks at one of the tallest creatures.
Well, we were looking at one of the tallest creatures, but of course I got sidetracked by a very pretty, superb starling in this absolutely glorious light. Now, we have been chatting a bit about birds. Look at him hunting away. Now, of course, you've always got to keep your eye open because you never know what's around. Oh, you get him. Did he get it? He did. He got a grasshopper. There we go. Manu, our first kill, and I haven't even been back an hour. They are very pretty birds. Oh, that grasshopper nearly escaped. Oh dear. There's another one right next to us as well, but I just need to move the car quickly because we are causing a traffic jam. Oh, this guy is really chilled. Hello. There we go. He's very chilled. We're so close. Now, isn't this wonderful? Isn't that beautiful? Now, as Jamie was saying, we saw some incredible birds while we were in Uganda, and then two specials. Oh, look at the ants. Why are you so full you can't even eat your grasshopper? Oh, just look at that shine, that beautiful sheen on the starlings. Now, that's very important when it comes to mating. So the shiner you are, the better looking you are to a mate. So when starlings lose that sort of iridescent sheen, they become unappealing to the opposite sex, both male and female, and it is normally a sign of being in bad condition. Now, I wonder if they've actually got a nest close here, because we've got two of them, and they're not swallowing their food. That one's also got something in its mouth, so they might be collecting to go feed a hungry brood. Oh, that one's got a caterpillar. Oh, look at that. Oh, that color is just incredible. Now, this is out on the road now. Let's just watch them for a little bit to see. Is that another one? No, it's the same one. You can see collecting. Oh, Grateful Bad says, pretty birdie. Indeed, they are absolutely gorgeous birds. So I think they're collecting for a nest. So I think they've got a nest close by here, and you've got both parents foraging here, collecting as much as they could possibly hold in their beak before heading off to feed a bunch of hungry little chicks. You can see it's got quite a few grasshoppers in its beak there. I don't know if you can hold much more there, champ. But yes, so Jamie passed on so I could show you a picture of the Shoebill, which is an incredible looking bird. It's almost dinosaur-like, and they are massive. That bill is specially developed for eating lungfish. Now, lungfish is also a fantastic animal in itself. Now, they live in the papyrus swamps in quite a widespread through Africa, but in sort of far more central and towards the west, along the Nile Valley. We don't actually have, there's one species, the East Coast lungfish in South Africa and Mozambique, but it's very rare. Now, so that bill is specially designed that they're able to get into that sort of floating massive vegetation and scoop up lungfish. And lungfish can be really, really big and weigh over 10 kilograms. Now, actually, I'll try to find you a photo of lungfish just now, because they are incredibly weird-looking creatures. So they're half-evolved, it seems. So they are able to breathe air, so they've got lungs, hence the name lungfish, and they've got the weirdest little fins that are almost like legs. So they're sort of in between evolving, where they haven't decided whether they want to stay in the water or go onto the land just yet. But it is incredible. Now, another bird that Jamie was very excited about, and I was very excited that she got to see it. I didn't think we were going to get lucky enough to find this bird while we were in Uganda. I thought we'd have to go further into the bigger forests, which we didn't have time to do this time. But we were lucky enough at the Entebbe Botanical Gardens to see the biggest member of the turaco family. There we go, the great blue turaco. Now, also one of my favorite calls. Now, when I was living in the Central African rainforests, you could hear this for miles around you, really loud, and often right up high in the trees. Now, to give you an idea, the great blue turaco, that's a pair talking to each other. Isn't that amazing? So wonderful. And but I mean, they're massive. For a turaco, they're absolutely massive birds. There we go. And so that was really, really special. And as Jamie said, she used the James Henry method to get a photo of it with the binoculars. The last bird I'll show you for now. We'll show you some more as we go through. What was it called again now? Yes, we've just seen a superb starling. And now we're looking for a bird that was a first for me, also in Entebbe, which was one of my highlights from the birding of the trip. Let me just find it here quickly for you. We're nearly there. Oh, no, man. Silly fingers. Okay, we're looking there. Should be... There we go. So a very pretty, very small little sunbird. So I said we've just seen the superb starlings, and I saw a superb sunbird in the Entebbe Gardens. That was a really, really, really special one for me. There was one bird, unfortunately, that we didn't find, which was the papyrus gonolek, but we did see the black-necked gonolek. So it is a type of shrike. I said, actually, I'll wait to show you the gonolek later. I can't do them all in one go. Oh, well, our giraffe are disappearing off into the distance now. Look at that. We stopped for giraffe, got sidetracked by a hungry, superb starling, then got sidetracked by birding in Uganda, and the giraffe have vanished, but another bird has arrived. Pretty bird. One of the more common birds in the Mara, but still gorgeous to look at, and fluffing itself up, doing a bit of preening. Looks like it's got a bit of a molt going on there. And a yellow-throated longclaw. Okay, we're going to keep slowly meandering down towards the Mara River. Jenny says, what a pretty bird. Okay, Manu flying. Not a bird we see too often in... it landed. Thank goodness. Here we go. Not one of the birds we see too often in the Mara, but it is not the best sighting. But if for those of you keeping your Mara bird lists, it's an African grey hornbill. So I want to know, who's over 100 on your Mara bird list so far? Let me know, #Safari Live. Who's made it to 100? And can we take it to 101 today? Okay. Oh, it is just so beautiful this afternoon. And really great to be back. Well, oh, there's a bird, another bird, and then... I hope Jamie's also got a bird. I hope it doesn't fly away. But I don't know if we've seen the little yellow canaries yet in the Mara. Where did it disappear? It just landed in... Let me just have a look at my bino so I can help Manu. I think it's disappeared into the grass. Tiny little canary. Oh dear. Well, I have to keep my eyes out for them later. So let's go see what flying feathered creature Jamie has.
Ta-da! Look at them, spectacular flying feathered creatures, are they not? Dumbo, yes. Apart from the fact that there is no elephant that is using its ears to fly, obviously our bird flew. It flew away. And such is life, filming live wildlife. So it was a hornbill, it was a grey hornbill, another one potentially to add for those of you building up a Mara list. But since that particular bird has gone dashing off, well, we can keep looking at the elephants instead. I thought it would be really nice. I was going to move on, and then I just couldn't bring myself to leave the elephants, not just yet. I've been deprived for 2 weeks. Pachyderm deprived. It's a dangerous thing, you know. Can't really go for much longer than 2 weeks without seeing an elephant, otherwise one starts to suffer serious withdrawal symptoms. Irritability, annoyance, slight shakes. No, definitely can't go for too long without seeing Ellies. Hey guys, this is the group that was trumpeting, or that I heard trumpeting far away from the other group. So I just came to investigate and see what was troubling them, but they all seem to have relaxed beautifully. I still, even though I've been in the Mara for, I don't know, how long have I been in the Mara? Since June, anyway. I don't really know where we are in space or time. But I've been here for so long and I still haven't quite got over the size of the female elephant tusks here. This is an example of sort of relatively average sized tusks on this female. Although right now all we can see is her bottom. And just the tip of the tusk poking out. But they really, it's one massive difference between the elephants here and the elephants in Djuma. And the only thing I can conclude is maybe genetics for a start, and the fact that they don't have to use their tusks as studiously as the elephants do on Djuma. The elephants in Djuma go through the dry season, which of course has been well and truly abated by the storm that happened last night, but I'll leave the Djuma team to tell you all about that. But the Djuma elephants have to go through the dry season, or the Kruger elephants have to go through the dry season, which means they have to feed on trees and bark and essentially get the nutrients out of whatever they can. Whereas the elephants here, the grass certainly does get old and brown and dry towards the end of the second wet season and in between the two wet seasons, but they really do have much longer to feed on the grass itself, which maybe means it's softer. Trisha, it's a question I think I've spoken about before, and there's no real conclusive answer. Well, I personally wasn't able to find an answer. So Trisha's question was, do the elephants in the Mara live on average longer than those in Djuma? And, well, let's not say Djuma, because Djuma is a portion of a whole. So within the greater Kruger area, I can't find any conclusive evidence to suggest that they would. The only reason that perhaps, which I see your connection, I get exactly where you're going for, or where you're getting that question from, because of course for our new viewers, elephants go through 6 sets of teeth in their lives, molar teeth that is. The tusks are permanent, they too are teeth, but within their mouths they have 6 sets of molar teeth that basically move in a conveyor belt like fashion. As the old ones get worn down, the new set moves in to replace it. And by the time they reach their old age, the final 6th set has worn down but without another set to replace it, and as a result they cannot chew their food as effectively as they could when they were younger. And again, that's one of the reasons that elephants die, because they're not quite getting the nutrients out of their food. Their digestive system doesn't break it down, so they can't masticate, and as a result they start to lose condition, and that's ultimately what leads to an elephant's demise once it reaches old age. So I see your point. If they're feeding on softer food, would their teeth wear down less quickly than those in South Africa? I don't know. I haven't found any conclusive evidence. I think if there is an effect, I think it is marginal, because that chewing motion is constant. It's not like the use of tusks against bark. That chewing motion is constant pretty much all day, every day, and into the night as well. So elephants, in order to maintain their massive size, need to feed constantly, and they excrete, they defecate out about half of what they eat, half of what they've ingested. So they do need to keep on feeding that digestive system. It's just the way that their digestive system has evolved. So I don't think so. I did look after that question was asked, and I never found any conclusive evidence. Tony, yes, absolutely. The elephant's trunk is very similar to a human being's nose, and they are capable of breathing through it. So it's all connected to a massive, massive sinus cavity that then obviously leads down to the pharynx and then into the chamber of the mouth. So yes, they do breathe in through their noses, and they will breathe through their noses as well as their mouths. One thing I love watching, and we hardly ever see it, is when a baby elephant that hasn't learned to use its trunk goes to have a drink. And also, I've seen it quite a few times. The little one just gives up trying to work out how this, hello, come here. Oh, bye. There's a grasshopper. There's a grasshopper that was in the car with me, but it's gone for a walk. Okay. Can you see it there, Jandre? Did you spot it? No. Some grass. It went in there somewhere. So we've got some grass, now we just need the hopper to accompany it. But back to the trunks anyway. The baby elephants haven't worked out how to use their trunk, and they sort of push their face in and drink through their mouths, and it's hilarious to watch. But you know, trunk is a complicated thing to have to try and learn how to use. There's lots and lots of muscles that all need their coordination developing. Very valid point from Francis in Israel. Now, Francis in Israel is wondering about why we then call elephant tusks ivory if they are essentially modified teeth. And the answer to that is really simply because it's the way in which the tusk, it is produced in the same way that teeth are, but it's the way that the tusks are, the way that the what on earth is the word I'm trying to look for? Dentine? Enamel? The dentine is constructed, and the smooth grain of it has led to it being called ivory. So elephants have ivory. The hippos have ivory as well. Warthogs have tusks. Do you call warthog tusks ivory? I'm not sure. I must double check that. Yes, I think you would. I mean, ivory is essentially the name given to teeth that are used to create something man-made, a decoration of some kind, essentially. So when elephants are collected or killed for their ivory and the tusks are collected, it's termed ivory because it's worked by human beings ultimately. That's the goal, is to use it for that sort of purpose. I think that's pretty much why that's the definition of ivory, is tusks or teeth that are utilized for decoration, to make something look pretty. It's terribly tragic, obviously, and not something that should be in any way encouraged. And when you think about it, it's actually kind of weird. Yes, I have a statue made of its animal's tooth that we've carved up. It just so happens that, of course, elephants produce very large tusks, and that the material of their teeth is very smooth and very fine-grained. Hence why they became such popular targets for poachers. Planes and Trains channel. What is the elephant's best friend in terms of the animals around it? Elephants, actually, to be honest. Other elephants, essentially. Elephants could be surprisingly intolerant of other animals in their personal space. I've seen them chase pretty much every single other animal out here, from the impala to lions. Obviously they chase predators away. That makes sense because there's that ingrained instinct within them to tell them predators are bad. But I've seen them chase egrets, birds. In fact, there we go. Baby elephants love to chase birds. It's one of their favorite things to do. It makes them feel big and scary. Prepares them for the future that lies ahead. Is that an answer, maybe? Perhaps they really enjoyed it. Faith, I did get that question right, didn't I? It was best friend. Otherwise, essentially, an elephant's best friend is another elephant. Elephant calves have each other for company. You'll find that within a group there'll be several around the same age, not necessarily exactly the same age. You'll see the size differences, and these little chaps will develop their skills, whether it's fighting or playing or interacting with each other. It's all practiced with a company of their own. And I've seen elephant herds, two completely separate elephant herds. So they were definitely distinct elephant herds, led by two different matriarchs. I have seen them meet at a waterhole. Elephants aren't territorial. It might have been that it was an elephant herd that was related. It might not have been. But these two youngsters saw each other, one from one herd and one from the other herd, and they went racing. And I promise you, I'm not anthropomorphizing. There was excitement in their body language as they raced towards each other and greeted each other. And to me, we'll never know for absolute certain, but it makes sense in my own mind. To me, they knew each other, and they were greeting each other as friends, and they were excited to see each other. It was two bulls around about 4 or 5 years old, and they were beside themselves with excitement. So an elephant's best friend is another elephant. And in the case of the females, that will be a bond that will last for the rest of their lives. It's a family bond. Their herds are made up of sisters, aunts, and then cousins, youngsters, a very female-dominant group. The bulls, on the other hand, they often, especially as they reach old age, will be very, very solitary and move about largely on their own, especially once they reach that sort of past the 40-year mark. They'll move about quite happily and quite content to be on their own. In that case, an elephant's best friend is a piece of fruit. Brent, I don't see why not. I'm trying to think if I've ever heard it. So Brent's question is, okay, so we've spoken about the fact that elephants breathe through their trunks. Now, sorry, Andre, I'm switching shoulders. Just keep my back mobile. It's Yesterday's journey has done terrible things to my vertebra. So Brent's question is, do elephants snore when they sleep? I've never seen it or heard it, but I don't see why they wouldn't, to be honest. I'm sure that if you went up close to a sleeping elephant, and bear in mind the adults hardly ever sleep, maybe every couple of days, whereas the youngsters will sleep every day for at least, a good hour at a time. I think you'd probably hear it, and I think, yes, if their nose was feeling a little bit blocked, they might actually snore a little bit. Now, I'm not sure about elephants, but I most definitely have heard lions snore in the past, but apparently snoring is the last thing on Brent's lion's mind.
Here we go. Well, she's very hungry, and she just spotted a warthog, but the warthog has put enough distance between her. There she goes. Clever pig, clever pig. Short-tailed pig. It looks like that one escaped lions in the past. Well, let's try to get a little bit closer to that lioness. It is the Olololo Pride in this area. We're just below Chitwa Timber Camp, and I wonder if she's got some cubbies hidden in the lugger there. So we're going to go have a bit of a closer look. Oh dear, lots of holes here. She was looking very hungry. Hungry. For those of you from Southern Africa, there's even a fast food chain called the Hungry Lion. Not very good, don't eat there, ever. But yes, no, I'm not sure. It's not that bad, but it's not that great either. The Hungry Lion. Here we go. Oh, there's another lion. Oh, that warthog was incredibly lucky. Managed to sneak through between two lions. That is one lucky pig. Were you girls sleeping so much and that warthog just appeared in between you that neither of you could capitalize? Okay. Let's have a look if there's any little cubbies around. Now, Faith, I didn't quite catch the name. Someone was asking, what is the difference, how would I describe the difference between the landscape? So who? Quinoa. Between Djuma and the Mara. Well, one of the major factors that defines the landscape... Oh, there's another lion. Is that a cub? There's a cub and another lioness. Looks like... Have they already got a kill? Or are they just fighting over suckling? No, there's some meat there. Okay, let me just move again. Sorry, Quinoa, I will get to your question. I just want to get us in a good spot. Looks like they're fighting over meat, but of course cubs can become very aggressive when fighting over mom's milk. But I'm just saying it looks like there's some meat, and one of the bigger cubs is lying on top of it. Look at that. The cub is trying to lie over the meat. Oh, it looks like baby warthog by the looks of the foot that just popped up there. Or a young warthog at least. Let's just have a look. Look at that. The one cub is lying on top of the meat, trying to stop the other cubs getting anything. Now, if this is a baby warthog, this could have just happened. Don't fall off the edge. There's a long drop down into the river behind them. Greedy guts lying on top of the food. Now, isn't that incredible? That noise is from cubs. Not even an adult lion growl, but it's a very small warthog. Mom's coming in. Oh, when they got a bit serious there. They are very, very close to the edge. this probably just happened, probably about 5 minutes or so, maybe 10 minutes before we arrived. And the females are still really hungry because they've let the cubs feed on such a small little titbit. Now that warthog we saw escaping was a male, so it probably wasn't attached to this little warthog that is being feasted upon by, how many cubs can we see there? 4. It's amazing how deep those little voices are. Already, these cubs have grown so much since the last time I saw them. And Jamie found them when they were tiny tots. They seem to be a little bit more peaceful at the moment. But with lions, there we go. They're disappearing in well, that possibly was below us in the lugger. Do you see anything down there? Nah. Must be a hippo, I think. Can't see anything. It's very steep. Let's go back to the lions. Definitely wouldn't want to take a tumble down there. Heather is saying, do I think this warthog is related to the one that ran away? Impossible to say, because the one that went away was a male. So it could have been a dad, but as I say, quite difficult to say quite often. Maybe a little bit higher. Apologies, for a black screen there. I've lost sight of the cubs. Have they tumbled down the hill? No, not yet. How's that, Manu? I think it's about the best we're going to get. They're right on the edge of the precipice. I think they're just being held up by the odd branch. Now, it's probably about a 3-meter drop or so. They might hurt themselves. They'd probably be fine, though. Someone's lost his spot. Tisa is wondering, at what age do lion cubs start drinking mom's milk? They get weaned at about 6 months. Oh. It's a scrum. They've gone behind us. Hang on, hold on. They've gone right behind us. I'm sorry, I got sidetracked by that awesome view of those little ones fighting. So they stop drinking mom's milk at about 6 months old. And they lose their milk teeth, their baby teeth at that age, and develop their adult teeth. So when Manu, I can't go too close to the edge. How's that? Good? I'm always very nervous around the edge of these luggers because quite often there's a deep undercut from water. So you don't want to get too close, that the banks can collapse. Oh, there we go. Make a break for it. Right in front of us. You got away with the whole pig. Well, what's left of it. This is such a wonderful sighting. Oh, snarly face. Oh, sorry, my head. I was trying to duck out of the way. How cool is this, guys? I mean, they are literally... Well, they're off their run again, back towards mom. And as you can see with lions, whoever's the grumpiest and growliest generally gets the best meal. And after all that really loud... Oh, more, let me just go back for you, Manu. I will leave Snarly Grumpy eating his baby warthog, and let's go have a look at that really nice scene of them greeting and talking to Mom. There we go. Listen to them. I'm just going to keep quiet for a second. You hear all the noises they're making. Oh, he's got a leg. Left, right. Oh, one's got one leg. They're still fighting over the scraps. Linda was wondering how old are these cubs? Oh, Linda, I've forgotten. I'm trying to remember when Jamie found them. They were tiny then. I'd say they're probably about 4 months old now, maybe 3.5 months, 3 months. Oh, disappeared back onto the edge of the precipice. That one looks like it's going to go see Mom or just go for a wander. Oh, you're going to cause trouble with the one who stole the warthog's head, aren't you? Off you go to cause trouble again. Oh, what are you thinking about it? Looks like a little girl. Yep, little girl. Little female. Hey, pretty. What a wonderful way to come back to work, treated to such an awesome sighting like this. Yeah, I'm just going to have to reverse a bit. Keeping me on my toes, this lot. I wonder if that's a little boy who's run off with the lion's share of that baby warthog. Oh dear, little madam. Not getting any more pig for you. Now, Tom's wondering, do I think the cubs were involved in the kill? No, they're way too young. I think Mom might have caught it, and then the cubs would have rushed in and eaten it. Still growling, even though no one's trying to steal it from him. Roo, 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 roo. Jim is wondering, why does the mom not encourage sharing? Well, Jim, it is not the way of the lion. With lions, it's generally whoever's the most aggressive and biggest will win. And it's survival of the fittest out here. And if you can't fight for your piece of meat, you don't get any. Oh, listen to that. Oh, talking to Mom. Oh, give me a bath, Mom. Give me a bath. Isn't that wonderful? Ah, if I can't have warthog, I can have some milk. These little ones, what are you up to? No, not much happening that side. Oh, well, it's all calming down here now. I'm going to leave little Piggy to keep eating his piggy. Okay, well, I'm going to carry on towards the river, see what else we can find. I'm hoping for something spectacular. Well, we leave this fat little lion cub and the remnants of the baby warthog. What do you... Oh, snarling at... Wait, we're not going to go just yet. There's another adult, and she looks like she did the killing. And that cub is growling at her. Hello, big girl. So that is 1, 2, 3 lionesses. You can see she's made another kill somewhere, I think. I think she's made another kill. Oh, listen to all that noise. Listen to those contact calls. I mean, she's got a long streak of blood. I don't know if it's a wound or she's made another kill somewhere. Unfortunately, I think it's down in the lugger. I don't know, maybe that's what we heard splashing about a bit earlier. She doesn't look like she's about to take them back to kill. I just want to watch what's going on here for a little bit longer. So that's the 2 other adult lionesses. 3 lionesses in this pride, if I remember correctly, normally. And the 4 cubs. It doesn't look like the others are lactating. Kestrel Fox says the new female's pale. I don't think she's that pale. She's within the normal scope of lion coloration. There's a bit of a greeting now. Flop down. Maybe she didn't make another kill, or if she did, she maybe just snacked it herself if it was a small warthog and she was away from the rugrats. Ow. I love those little lion noises. Ow, ow. Well, there's nothing left down there. Okay, so we're going to move on. Remember, this is coming to you 100% live from the Masai Mara in Kenya. And, hi, Faith. Sorry, Faith is still talking to me. So this is coming to you 100% live from the Masai Mara in Kenya. And we've been spending some time with this incredible pride of lions who've just finished eating a baby warthog. But it seems like Jamie is still on a birding mission.
I didn't know I was on a birding mission, but it appears that that is the way that the afternoon is unfolding. Well, I mean, I suppose it makes sense after our holiday birding in Uganda. It's only fair that... Oh. Right. So now we have a mission. And that is for you to be able to hear the call that this bird just made. So we're going to sit, it's doing it relatively regularly. We're going to sit and we're going to wait for it. And hopefully this time I won't talk over it and we can turn the ambience right up, because it's one of the coolest bird calls in the world, I feel. It is a whistle followed by the champagne cork popping sound. And I think what makes it the most entertaining is, of course, the head movement that accompanies that particular sound. Now, every now and again, this particular black-bellied bustard, which is what this bird is, calls in response to another male that's calling not so far away from here. And I'm actually quite familiar with this. I think it's this individual. I mean, I couldn't be certain. But having spent so much time in this area during our TV series, you sort of get to know the location. Oh. Did you get that? Faith, could you hear that? It's one of my absolute favorite sounds. It's such a cool sound. Right, now it's going to go behind where we can actually view it, which means I'm going to have to start the engine, which means you might get a little bit of the sound of the diesel as we go along. But let me just reposition and we'll try for one more call, because it's so entertaining. I can't do it. I try so hard to imitate that call, and I can't do it. Herbie can. Herbie in South Africa, he can imitate the call beautifully. Brian could. Chandra, how's your black-bellied bustard impression? 10 out of 100, okay. Cool. So 1 out of 10 from Chandra. Mine's not much better, to be honest. In fact, mine not even have made it to the 10% mark. No, it just isn't quite right. It's the whistle. Okay, right, mister. Are you going to show us how it's done? We're going to scuttle away. I really enjoy looking at bustards and korhans, particularly... He's so unpredictable. Should I just not say a word? Wait for him to call again. I'll speak quickly now while he's not going to call straight away. Just the fact that they've got such striking bold colours on parts of them, and then this beautiful mottled camouflage on the top parts of their bodies. And they do hide from threats by folding their legs up and lying down on their bellies and hiding that black, striking clear colour away. Because of course out here black stands out very clearly in terms of colours. Black and white are the colours that you probably, in fact most animals will see most clearly. Okay, his neighbour called. Paul! A reference that I completely enjoyed, I really truly did. Paul says that it sounds like a bubble bursting on Sonic the Hedgehog. I agree. I couldn't have described it better myself. For those of you who are unfamiliar with the Sonic the Hedgehog bubble bursting sound, well, you'll have to look it up after the safari. But well, actually you don't. That's what it sounds like. That's what it sounds like. It's interesting, there's several calling. There's one over there, and there's one somewhere over there. It's difficult for me to tell with the earpiece and direction. But he's got two neighbours that he's having to compete with. Okay, let's switch on and move. Oh, wait, let's one last look at him, because I think I'm going to move on after this and go in search of the sausages. So one last look. Things are getting serious, guys. He's moved on to a termite mound. There's one quite close. That's why there's two quite close. They're all calling in response. There's no way you'd ever be able to hear the other two, I don't think. But I'm just wondering if there isn't going to be a collision of sorts between the males. Oh dear, Gendre. I think those people who are coming to join us think I've found lions. They are sadly mistaken. It never gets old, does it? It's inherently comic. Now he's going to call more regularly, I think. Now that he's raised himself up a bit, he wants to try and pinpoint. I think there's actually 4 calling. Ours and 3 others. Now he's going to want to pinpoint where the other males are. So birds call for a couple of different reasons, but a lot of the time the call is territorial. What it reminds me of when they sort of adopt the pose as they're about to call. There's definitely some serious focus involved. Oh, we're down from the termite mound, okay. Stalking through the grass, calling to his neighbours. Graham, you say you always get this one mixed up with a korhan. You're not the only one, Graham, and I cannot believe that on this today of all days, I left the app that I have at home, well, the device that I have the birding app on, because I would have loved to show you a picture. So, Graham's saying that he mixes up this particular bird with the korhan, and it's inevitable because they're in the same family. The korhans and the bustards belong to the same family. The red-crested korhan will not have the black extending all the way up, and they're quite a bit smaller than the black-bellied bustard. So what you can do is you can ask Brent to show you a picture if he's feeling particularly obliging. I'm sorry, Brent. Ooh. to lay this on you. There's the sonic bubble pop. But perhaps Brent will be able to show you the difference between the two bird species when you next head across to him. Okay, well, there's another vehicle coming along past us. I think they think that we've seen a lion. They look deeply eager to find out what we found. So hold on a sec. Perhaps now he's right behind my head. Hi guys, how are you? Hi. Nothing new to report. No, I've been looking for the lions around here, but no, we've just stopped to look at the bird. Yeah, having a wonderful time. Yeah, one of our other vehicles is there now. Thanks so much. Aren't we all? Always. Good luck. I hope you find it. Cheers, guys. Bye. Looking for the ever elusive leopard. Apparently. I know the feeling. I've seen about 4 in my time in the Mara. I've been beginning to forget what they look like. I think they've got spots. They're the spotty ones. Katie, while we sit and enjoy the company of our black-bellied Bustard, who's on the search for his noisy neighbours, find out whether or not they've encroached on his territory. I just can't bring myself to... I cannot bring myself to interrupt them while they're calling. It's just too hilarious. Now, Katie is wondering about what the black-bellied Bustard eats. Well, one of the things that they'll be eating at the moment is seeds. The grasses are seeding a lot at the moment, and that'll include the red oat grass that we're seeing around here. They might also eat small insects. You can see they've got quite solid looking bills. So they'd be able to scoop up small insects as well. But it's a lot smaller than something like a Cory Bustard, which we see occasionally in the Mara. Oh, did I speak over it? Distracted. Oh, his neighbours are calling. So they are omnivorous birds. So they do, as I said, they will eat insects. They might even, if they came upon some sort of carcass on the road or something like that, they might even pick away at a carcass. I've never seen it, but it's a possibility because they are essentially omnivorous. And most animals will supplement their diet with protein when they have the opportunity. Ethan, the Bustard is a solitary bird. The times that we've seen them together have been in situations where you've got males competing for a female, or when you've got a mating pair, when the males spotted the female, so they do not mate for life. Most birds are monogamous in some way. I think the statistic is around about 90% of bird species are monogamous. But not all of them mate. That doesn't mean that they necessarily mate for life. They might be seasonally monogamous, which means that when it's time for them to breed, which would be around about now, I would say, for a bird like this, it makes sense. It's the wet season. There's plenty of food around, or the first of the wet seasons. So I would suggest that their breeding season is somewhere around here. He's patrolling his territory. But you really only ever see them on their own, and the females are much more difficult to spot. The females don't have the really clear black strip that runs along them, so they're much more hidden and they don't vocalize, so they're harder to find. We don't often see them. Cool. Well, he's disappeared, so let's carry on as we answer the questions. Oof, Debbie, you've caught me out here. Debbie, you've definitely caught me out. You want to know about the Bustard's nest. As far as I know, they're ground nesting birds. As to whether or not the female sits on the eggs, I'm going to say the female. I don't know how much of a committed role the male plays. So when I say ground nesting, a lot of the bird species like the corehorns, so the spurwings, the lapwings, You've seen it with Tristan recently with the three-banded plover. They don't actually really build nests. They scrape a little hollow in the ground and they lay eggs, and the eggs are exceptionally camouflaged. Now, I think that's the way that this particular bird nests. Trying to sneak in my sentences in between in answer to your question. But to be honest, I think you've caught me out on that. I'll have to double check whether the male or the female or both. Obviously the female will, but whether or not the male helps her in terms of incubating the eggs. You'll find within a lot of bird species that do nest on the ground that the biggest problem is not so much keeping the eggs warm, although it would be here, because it does get quite cold here, and they probably would have to incubate them at night, or keep them warm at night. But the problem in a lot of places, like in South Africa, is actually keeping the eggs cool. So a lot of the time the birds actually have to stand and shade the nests, and in certain species of lapwing, or in species of sandgrouse, they'll go and they'll wet their feathers. They'll go, the parents will go and splash their, like some kind of bizarre punctuation. They'll go and splash their bellies, and then they'll go and sit on their nests, and they'll cool the eggs down in that way. But I don't know. I'm sorry. I should know, but I do not. And I would never make stuff up. So I don't know exactly the nesting habits of the black-bellied korhaan. If you are an expert in black-bellied korhaan reproduction, or perhaps you just know. Oh, okay. Alright, well there we go. We have the answer to Brent's, well, from Brent. He says that only the female sits on the nest and that they're polygamous. That would make sense. We've seen the courtship displays before. We've seen the males competing for access to the females. So that would make sense. There we go. Brent knows the answer, which is great because I did not. It's what I would have guessed, I think. But I'm not 100% sure I would have got that right. The question is, are Kori bustards also polygamous? I think they are. It's funny, whenever we think of larger... That other one is quite close. That other male. At that time their call was almost synchronized. Okay, we're going to bumble along and go off in search of the sausage tree pride, as I said I would before it gets too late. Let's go and find out what Brent's plans are for the rest of his afternoon.
Oh, welcome back. I'm having a very nice, slow, relaxed drive towards the Mara River. I haven't even got there yet. Let's see what we can see around the river, and then maybe make our way back towards those lions a little later. But it is just truly magnificent this evening, and I think we're in for a dry drive, which is always a good way to start. I'm sure we'll have plenty of time. Oh, hello, aeroplane. Bye-bye, aeroplane. Plenty of time to get wet as we move closer and closer to the big rains. So at the moment we're still in the small rainy season, which is up till sort of December. In January and February it traditionally becomes quite dry again, and then after that is when the real big rains start, so the end of Feb. Now, I was chatting to Manu a bit earlier. We have Archie on camera, who's on his interview, so be nice to Archie, everyone. But I was chatting to Manu, and he said there's so many wildebeest on the other side of the river. I'm going to head across there tomorrow. But it's that loiter herd. Last year they gave birth on the Paradise Plain, so who knows? This year we could be absolutely spoilt rotten with a full sort of 250,000 wildebeest all calving within the reserve. And that is really going to be something quite spectacular to behold. And as well as that, of course... Oh, hello, Howard. I almost always find hyena when we're around here. So if we go across off, there we go. A little bit... Here we go. Maybe just have a look a little bit more to the left. There we go. There's the hyena. Just lounging, having a little lick. Hi, Howard. Now, of course, I'm just joking. I don't know whether it's a male or female, but I call all hyenas Howard. And that is because I have a cardboard cutout of a hyena that's named Howard. There's some pigs in the background and some zebra. There's a very flat hyena enjoying the nice cool weather. And some impala about to... Oh no, they've run off to the left already. Now, I wanted to... Oh, what have you heard, hyena? No, nothing around. So I said, I want to go down to the Mara River because of that rainstorm where we got stuck last night. We got stuck probably about as the crow flies not too far. Oh, there's another hyena on the move way down there next to the edge of the tree line. A little bit to the right. There we go. A little bit to the left. Just to the left of that topi. There we go. There's another hyena. What have you found, Howard? Oh, fighting off the flies. Oh, let's get a bit closer to that hyena. Okay. Let's get a bit closer to the hyena. There we go. Hello, Leslie. Leslie would like to know what kind of hyena is that. That is the spotted hyena. It is the most common hyena species in Africa and also one of the most widespread. They occur all the way to the edge of the true dense rainforests throughout Africa and all the way up into Egypt and into North Africa as well. Now, we have two hyena species in East Africa, the spotted hyena and the striped hyena. And they do occur in the Mara, but only on the far eastern side, up in the hills, where they avoid conflict with a much bigger, much stronger spotted hyena. Now, I'm still hoping to go find a striped hyena on one of our adventures across the river. I've seen one very close to Sekanani, actually, when I was a kid, my first trip to the Mara in about 95, 96, and I saw a striped hyena then. Now, as you go further north in Kenya, in the more drier areas, there are more striped hyena than in this area. Now, there is a third hyena species in Africa, which is the brown hyena, but that only occurs and is an endemic to southern Africa and into Angola. It's got quite a cool name. It's often called the strandloper, which means the beach walker. Because in Namibia, on the Skeleton Coast, they patrol up and down around on the beach looking for food, and they feed off the seal colonies. Now, there is another animal that is part of the Hyenidae family. It's called an aardwolf. We have seen quite a few of them in the Mara, and they are actually termite eaters, though. So even though they are related to hyenas, they don't eat any meat. They love a good Macromydes termite. Off you go, zibs. Okay, so we're nearly at the river. I just wanted to see how high it was after that rain yesterday. But I've noticed the Mara River goes up and down very quickly. But I am quite interested to see it during the height of the rainy season, see if it becomes a raging torrent. Okay, so we're at the Chitwa crossing now. So as I was just explaining, there are no brown hyenas in the Mara, only striped and spotted, but we do get aardwolf, the termite eaters. I've seen a couple of them. Unfortunately, we haven't, I think maybe Scott's managed to put one on live. I don't think I have. I can't remember though, but we see them quite often. It's a fleeting glimpse at very late, sort of 2, 3 in the morning, is the most common time I've seen them. Now, a lot of your smaller, interesting nocturnal mammals, the aardvark, aardwolf, even pangolins to a degree, are really active between sort of 11 and 4. And there's a very good reason for that. It's because it's when the lions are not too active. They go for a snooze. Oh, so the river doesn't look too high. Any big crocodilians sun-tanning themselves? Doesn't look like it today. Quite a cool day. So the river doesn't look too high. Now, of course, across the river, There's a crocodile. There we go. Down right near the edge, you can just see his head sticking out of the water. When you zoom in where you are. So I think he's just behind that bush. Let me try and go a bit forward. There he is. Not a monster, but it is indeed a Nile crocodile. And of course, a few days ago, I was at the source of the Nile River, or the White Nile, or Victoria Nile, as it flows out of Lake Victoria at Jinja. Patience, patience is the crocodile's key weapon. Okay, well, not doing too much. And there's not too much happening here at the river. I can't see any nice birdies or anything. So let us continue on our adventures. Oh, should we try it? Should we try it? Should we go for the marshmallow? No. But let's go back across to Jamie, who is no longer the Marshmallow Queen of the Mara.
I'm not still the Marshmallow Queen of the Mara. That's quite exciting. Well, I mean, not for poor Taylor. Just to clarify, I really fully sympathise. I sympathise even more with poor Manu, who was stuck with me and he got stuck with Taylor as well. So he's had some bad luck. So the Marshmallow King and Queen, I've still got the badge from Taylor's days. Well, actually, this was there when I left, because I was the previous Marshmallow Queen and Taylor's been driving my car. I really do not want to go that way. I was going to say I really do sympathise with Taylor, especially after our experience last night. It's one of those things, it's an inevitability. Now, of course, the question is it going to be Brent or is it going to be myself that takes the crown from Taylor? Because you can guarantee it's going to be one of us, and he's already started chirping away at me that it's going to be me. We shall see. We shall see. Pride comes before a fall and all that. He says it's going to be me. We shall see. Okay, quick look at the yellow-throated longclaw that just vanished, because it's another nice opportunity to listen to bird calls. It's there, Jean-Andre. It's gonna pop. It should pop back up. Have you got that? You've got those ones there as well. Well done. That's a dove. No, it doesn't. It's not. It's a yellow-throated longclaw. It is a yellow-throated longclaw. Well done. Where's the one that I was looking at gone? It's gone. Just by the way, in the next few minutes, we're going to be joined by a school that... Now, for those of you that are new viewers, we do take school drives, and I really believe it's one of the most valuable things that we do, because essentially the kids are going to be, inspiring that love and fascination with nature, something that's going to carry on for the rest of their lives, and they're going to be the future in terms of protecting these amazing wilderness areas. So what that means is that we'll be taking questions only from them initially. That doesn't mean stop sending through your questions, because we will come back to them after we're finished with the school drive. So keep sending through your questions the normal way, #SafariLive on Twitter. I'm going to make my way towards those giraffe. So we've got some exciting animals to show the little ones. They're 8 and 9 years old today. So you'll notice that we change the way that we speak a little bit. We'll try to get a yellow-throated longclaw on camera. Flew away. You'll notice that we changed the tone that we're speaking. Cool. Okay, so we'll say goodbye to you for now. We'll be back very shortly with the school on board. and welcome to the kids joining us at Brookwood Elementary. It's really great to have you kids on board, and I hope you're very excited to go on a live safari all of your own. Now, my name is Jamie, and I'll be one of the people that's going to be driving you around and showing you the amazing animals that we get to see each and every single day. And then on camera with me, so there's a person who sits behind me, and he's on camera. His name is Gendre, but Gendre is very shy, so you won't see much of Gendre apart from his thumb. But maybe if you ask a really good question or get an answer to a quiz right, Gendre might give you another thumbs up. Now, we are in a place called the Masai Mara of Kenya. So we're on the eastern part, we're in East Africa, Central East Africa, and it is a massive wilderness area that opens up right the way across to a country called Tanzania. We're in the Kenyan portion of it, and what you're seeing is happening right here and right now. So for you,
isn't it fantastic to be on a safari? We do apologize about the tech issues, but we are in the middle of the African bush, and we have a snoozing hyena there. So, my name is Brent, and I've got Manu on camera, and I've got an idea about what we're going to do on this safari. It's going to be fun. So I'm sure you all know what sounds the domestic animals you have at home make. Now, when I say a domestic animal, I mean like cows that go moo, and chickens that go bagak, 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 bagak. So what we're going to do, and I want you to do this as loud as you can, so the whole school knows you're on safari. So we've just seen that hyena. There's another one walking away in the distance. So I'm going to wait for you all to get ready. Are you all ready? Now, I'm going to make a hyena noise, and then I want you to make a hyena noise as well. And I think we're going to do that with all the different animals we see today. We're going to try and make the noises that or make the sounds that they have. Sometimes we might not make very good ones, but we can try. So are you ready? So if you're a hyena, you say whoop. Now, when I'm not whoop, you say whoop like this. Whoop. 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 And if you're a happy hyena, you can go ooh. So, okay, I hope you guys are all doing it, and I want you to do it really loudly. Whoop. Okay, oh, I'm being snorted at. There we go. We've got another animal making a noise at us. He was snorting at my whooping. There it is. It's called a topi, and it is an antelope. And topis don't make much noise. They only snort. So if everyone's calmed down and you're not excited hyenas anymore, we can make the topi snort. And a topi goes pff, pff, pff. But the topi is enjoying his grass. Now, I think we should go look for some lions, guys. I think you really want to see some lions, and that means we can do lion roars, and that's going to be fun. But so let's go have a look a little bit down the road. There were some lions around here earlier, so we're going to go see if we can find the lions. Now, I want lots of questions, but most importantly, I want you to make all the animal noises. So let's find another animal that we can make a noise. Oh dear, we only have a giraffe, and giraffe is one of the only animals that doesn't make any noises. Ah, I see some Thompson's gazelles, and they make funny noises. There they are over there. Oh, we can actually stop and have a closer look at the hyena who's having a snooze. Now, hyenas normally only whoop when it's dark, and they whoop to talk to each other. So when you're whooping, it means you are talking to each other. And there's different types of whoops that are made by hyenas, and we can't really tell the difference, but the hyenas can. There'll be a whoop, which is, where are you? Where are you? Where are my friends? And then you have the whoop that is, ooh, I found something, come quickly, I found something, I've come quickly, come help me, chase the lions. And William's got a question about hyenas' sounds. Do they really laugh? Well, they cackle maniacally, sort of. I can't really do a hyena cackle. Manu, can you do a hyena cackle? No. and they get really excited. Now, when they're doing that noise, it means they're very excited. So they're about to have a fight, or they found some food. That's that noise that they make there. So all that different animals talk to each other. And as I said, we can do the Thompson's gazelles quickly. Now, they are also very, very quiet animals. And like the topi, they only make a noise, which is a little snort. And they only generally do that when they've seen something dangerous. So like a lion or a leopard, and a Thompson's gazelle will go, are you guys ready? Is everyone ready? It almost sounds like a soft sneeze. And what they're doing when they're talking, they're telling all the other Thompson's gazelles, be careful, there's a lion. Be careful, there's a leopard. Or be careful, there's a cheetah. Okay, let us move along. Hello, Rice Creek Elementary. And they'd like to know, why is a hyena all by itself? Well, what happens with hyenas, they live in families called clans. This clan, there's probably about 60 or 70 hyenas. But they don't always stay together. There will be one sleeping over here, one sleeping over there, one over there. And when they find something, like lions eating something and they want to steal it from the lions, that's when they start calling to each other. And helps bring the rest of the family in so they can maybe steal the food from the lions. But also, if hyenas find a small bit of food, they don't like sharing with the rest of their family, so they will hide it. Sometimes hyenas will even hide food in water like this that we're driving past. So the reason they put food in the water is so that other hyenas can't smell it and steal it from them. Hyenas are very clever, one of the cleverest animals out in the African bush. Much smarter than, let's say, lions. And I'm hoping we find some lions, but we're going to have to practice our lion roaring before we get to the lions, because they've got some little babies, so we don't want to give them a fright. Conley would like to know, how long can a lion live? Well, it all depends. Out in the African wild, a male lion normally lives to about 12 or 13 years old. But if he's not in the wild, if he's in a zoo, he can live to over 20 years old. Female lions live a bit longer, around 15 or 16, because they don't have to fight as much as males. So they can live for quite a long time. Aha. Oh dear, okay. There's some warthogs heading towards where the lions were, so hold on, we're going to have to practice our lion roaring a bit later. Now we're on a Ferrari safari. Just going to see if those lions get close to the warthogs. So guys, sometimes when lions catch warthogs, it's not very nice to watch. They make a lot of noise. They squeal like a pig, because they are a type of pig. Sorry, Thompson's gazelles. And lions really like eating warthogs. So I'm just going to try get us in a good spot to see. Oh, that was close. We nearly got stuck. I'm busy watching the warthogs, and I'm trying to see if I can spot a lion. Oh, gears. Ooh, Darius has got a really good question. What is my favorite animal noise? Darius, I've got so many. But I think hyenas are definitely one of my favorites. And so are lions. And so are elephants. Hold on, guys, hold on. Bumpity, bumpity, bump. We're nearly there. So the lions were just over here earlier, and there's a little family of warthogs, babies and all, heading towards where the lions were. Now, lions really like warthogs, and they like baby warthogs even more because they're very easy to catch. Okay, Manu, the lioness is in front of that car. I'm going to try to get closer. No, we're going to have to wait it out. No, just go on to the warthogs. What's that behind the warthogs there? A little bit to the right? There, look, there's the lions. They're the lions. They're very close. Now there's another lion in front that the warthogs haven't seen yet. There the lions are going, chasing after the babies. Run, little warthogs! Oh! She's going to get it. She's got one. She's got one. Hold on, we're going to get in closer. Hungry lions. Now these lions have 3, 4. Oh dear, that's quite muddy. Hold on, muddy. They've got 4 little babies to feed. Now I'm warning guys, this can be sometimes not very nice. The lions, the warthogs make a terrible noise when they've been caught, but hopefully it's a small one and the lions already killed it. It looked like it caught a baby and the mom got away, but we'll have a look now. There's already 2 lions fighting over it. Now you'll see lions do this quite often. They'll lie on top of their food to try and make sure the other lion can't get any. And thankfully it is dead, so we won't have too much squealing. Now, lions will fight over their dinner as well, so be prepared for some really loud lion growls. Now, as I was saying, they prefer catching babies because they're easier to catch. The one problem with the baby is it's not much food for all the lions. So there's 3 adult females in this pride and 4 cubs. Now sometimes they might even catch more than one, but this time they just caught 1 baby. So we have a bit of a standoff now. The one lion's lying on top of the baby warthog, so the other one can't get to it. But it looks like she might have a grip on a piece of it. Hi, Mia. Mia is wondering, do animals feel pain? Yes, they do, Mia. They do have a complicated nervous system, which has pain sensors. So yes, they do feel pain. Now, one must remember that these lions aren't being cruel because they can't go to the shopping center to go get their dinner. They have to catch it themselves. So sometimes it can look a little bit mean, but they're not being mean. They've also got babies that they've got to feed. Hi, Jessie. Jessie's wondering, how do we not get attacked when we're close to dangerous animals? Well, Jessie, it's because we're in our safari cars, and it's a big thing that smells like gasoline and everything, so they don't really see us as food when we're in the car or as a threat. So if you drive carefully and respectfully, you can get close like we are now with these lions. But what I might try do is pop around to in front of them. Oh, looks like there's going to be a bit of movement. And there you can see the 3rd lioness all the way at the back there. Okay, hang on guys, I'm just going to go around in front of them, Manu. Now we've got to be careful we don't get stuck around here. Hi, Bill. Bill is wondering, how big can a pride get? Well, Bill, the biggest pride of lions I've ever seen was actually in the Masai Mara, and there were 40-odd lions in the pride. But normally the lions are between 5 to 10 adult females and their various cubs. Now, the males don't always stay with the pride. Here we go. So the males don't always stay with the pride, and the males often have more than one pride. So they can sometimes have 3 or 4 prides, and they move between the prides. I'm trying to see, is that 2 warthogs? No, it's 1. Shame. Shame, little piggy. Now, neither of them want to let go. Rice Creek Elementary is wondering how far away can you hear a lion roar? Well, it all depends on the wind and that, but with human ears you can probably hear them up to about 10 or 15 kilometers away on a very quiet night. But if you're a lion, you can probably hear them from even further away than that. So at this time of the year, there are lots of babies around, and the lions and everything like eating babies because they're easy to catch. Now, Jamison is wondering how fast can a big cat run? Now, Jamison, and a lion runs at about 20 meters per second, 20 to 21 meters per second. Now, that is much faster than Usain Bolt. So they can get up to, I'm trying to work it out into miles, but I'm not very good at miles, I only know kilometers. So about 21 meters per second is what their speed is, and they can only keep that up for a couple of seconds. So they don't chase things for very far. A cheetah, on the other hand, is the fastest living cat, and it can reach speeds of about 70 miles per hour. And it is very, very fast, and they can keep that speed up for much longer than a lion. A lion is like a short distance sprinter, but not even 100 meters, only 20 meters or 30 meters, whereas a cheetah can sprint for over 100 meters. Now, lions are normally ambush predators. So what they do, they'll try sneak close, and in this case, they had 2 females coming from behind and 1 lioness in front, and it worked perfectly. Although they only managed to catch 1 of the baby warthogs, so I think we're in for a fight when they do decide to start eating. Cheyenne is wondering, why can't the other lion just go catch something else? Well, Cheyenne, it's not that easy. You don't understand. It's very, very lucky to see a kill. You don't see them that often. And lions only have a success rate of between 12 and 14%, which that means is only 1.5 times out of 10 do they actually catch something. So it is very difficult. And you must remember, a lot of these animals are very, very fast, so they can escape from the lions very quickly. So what they're doing now is, because they've used quite a bit of energy, they're just holding on till that last second. Let's have a look. And that little piggy is definitely dead. Hi, Angel. Angel is wondering, what other things do lions eat? Well, Angel, whatever they can catch. Any of the gazelle, the topi, zebra, buffalo, wildebeest, whatever animal they can catch, as long as it's not too big. So they don't normally eat elephants. Elephants are a bit big, and sometimes if they can catch a small elephant, they will. But they will catch or eat anything. I've even seen a lion eat a tiny mouse when it was hungry. Kim is wondering, do lions bite each other? Yes, they do. They also punch each other, scratch each other. They can fight with each other quite a lot. And especially when there's food involved, lions tend to forget their manners. But if you're a lion, you don't need good manners. You just want to get the most food. Rebecca is wondering, how much food can a lion eat? Now, it depends. So a male lion can eat up to sort of 12 to 15 kilograms. So let me just work that out. And about 30 or 40 pounds in a single sitting. Females a little bit less, probably about 8 kilograms in a single sitting, so about 20 pounds before they're full. But they also have a very fast digestive system, which means they get rid of or process what they eat very, very quickly. So they can eat and eat and eat. And lions will actually eat till their bellies are so full. Now, we're going to wait with these lions, see what they get up to next. While we do that, let's go across to Jamie, who's got one of the biggest animals in the Masai Mara.